This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, I am Nathan Langione at 8 Winter Street.
Tom Damon, Caleb Hill Road.
Paul Dickey, 5 Woodgate Circle.
Jane Alden, Tilton.
Christine Dembitsky, Tilton.
I'm John Scanlon and Tilton Main Street.
So welcome, everybody. Our first order of business tonight, this is a regular Tuesday, August 8th meeting of the Tilton Planning Board. And the first order of business is a change of use that's continued from 549 West Main Street. That's where we were earlier. So we were coming back this evening with a letter from the owner of the property. And you have something from the owner?
You have the authorization on file, Jane.
Okay, you do have it on
Yeah.
file? Okay. We just came back there and there's some real concerns that I think the planning board has. Hi, Eric, come on in. We just started. And we walked the property, and our number one concern that I know of is that there's a retention pond that's supposed to be on the property and it's no longer there and it's nowhere to be found. So that's issue number one. And water there's no drains, so that the water is going right to the back and it's causing a lot of problems. And we have had a lot of rain, we know that, but it's caused some real problems. So I'm going to turn it over to the planning board if anyone would like to comment. John?
Well, the first thing I noticed is on the application, there's no mailing address for the owner. I don't know, official mailing address. We have that. I don't know who's
Leanne, do you
representing the
have a
owner.
mailing address for the owner?
The change of use application,
It's not on here.
on the change of use application, that application's been withdrawn, but
Okay.
Do we have any type of application for this?
no, now that
No
the,
change of use whatsoever. It's the only use that they're requesting is the mechanic. Is that correct?
right, but I think what's happened now is as a result of their request for change of use, it came to the planning board because the plan was not in compliance. And they withdrew their change of use, but the board is still concerned that the site plan that was approved in 2004 is not in compliance now. So I think that's where we're at. I don't think we're really deciding on a change use for sales because they withdrew, from my knowledge, in writing, they withdrew their application to do sales.
That's correct.
So I think the board now is addressing the concerns of the site, if I'm not correct.
Okay, so I have a copy of September 15, 2004, which is the decision on case PB 0419 for Mike's Auto. So this is the original conditions of use for that, to approve the site plan with the following conditions. Number one, an oil water separator be installed in line with the storm drain to the detention pond. Number two is compliance with state fire codes. Number three is compliance to the Tilton signage regulations. Number four is groundwater monitoring wells be maintained unless DES approves closure of the wells. If DES approves closure of the wells, closure will be conducted per DES recommendations. And number five was downcast lighting for the exterior. So I also, from the Registry of Deeds, it states that that's in a groundwater protection area and it's on the Registry of Deeds. Well, I'm looking at all those conditions. I don't know if anybody else has a copy of that, but I can.
Don't, but it has changed hands since then, right?
Yeah, that's on
Yes, it has.
Unfortunately, yeah,
Right.
done.
And looking at the aerial photograph that we have, the latest one, I'm not sure the date of this. Do you know what the date of that aerial photograph is?
April 26, 2023.
Well, I think the photograph is prior to that. That's when it was printed. But
When it was printed.
on that photograph, you can see that there are piles of dirt where it was filled in. The piles are still there in this, and there's, I could probably count 60, 70 loads of dirt all in the area where the detention pond should have been.
I'm going to guesstimate that's at least 10 years on that Google.
Presently, I think when we just walk the site, the groundwater or the runoff, it's then going into the detention pond, goes directly into the wetlands now, which is borders the property along west side.
So at the very least then, does that mean the property owner needs to comply with the 5 stipulations of the previous site plan, or do they need to submit a new site plan?
The site plan stays on the record as.
Yeah, so it's necessary to keep those that were stipulated in the 2004. Because that's all they're doing. They were going into the old location since they withdrew the change of use. So those conditions would still apply. And
So the owner for the property is not present, right?
we've never met him.
So
But they have like power of attorney to speak on his behalf.
the people that are,
Eric.
Eric and
yeah,
Chad.
And Chad, those two.
you don't own it. Right. Yeah.
And being new to the board, they're really trying to make this compliant. They just have a lot to do.
So how long have you been at the property? 8 months. 2 months. For 2. And
And they came to the planning board. This is what, your third trip to the planning board?
I came the first week I was in the building.
Yeah, this is the third.
We've been every meeting.
Yeah.
And we put in a new site plan as well, a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago.
And we got clearance from fire.
Yeah.
Okay. But there appears to be a lot of storage of oil in barrels. I know that was there when you got there, from what I
We
understand.
got a waste oil burner, so that's what the oil is. So I don't know if we need to store them better or whatnot, but that's
She's talking about the ones that are right out back. The
Out
building
back.
that were there
Right
when,
out back.
When,
Oh,
when
yeah.
you took over the
Okay.
building. They were left there, but we can figure out how to dispose of them if that's what we have to do.
that's
yeah,
We just didn't want to, didn't know what the owner had plans for or whatever. So, and the barrel, the waste oil furnace is full right now, so we didn't drain it.
we are fresh. We don't know why, but we need to know how to comply. What needs to be done to comply.
I think one of the first things you need to do is get in touch with the state.
I was told the wells were shut down, if that matters. I heard you guys talking about the wells. Those are supposedly
No,
shut
we're
down
talking about
years
the
ago.
fact that the detention pond has been
That's the
filled in.
drilled well. We're not,
Okay.
that's not our concern.
Okay,
So-
I didn't know. I just heard it.
So we need to get into the state and
That's to the retention.
To the retention well.
pension plan.
I mean,
With an oil
retention pond.
separator. Oil water separator.
I know DS requires containment, secondary containment for all, because I think there's like 6 drums out there. And you can see where they're leaking. And all that water flows off of the building around those and directly into the wetlands.
And
That's-
when we walked out towards the wetlands, we could see the oil floating on the water that has drained in there.
from us.
Up on top
Off
of
the
wetlands?
property.
Okay.
Just the
On that property.
Oh, okay.
If it didn't rain today, you wouldn't have had a problem, but it rained today.
Well,
And the only reason we was
I'm just
asking-
talking about the wetlands up there.
The only reason
we
we was
don't
asking
use up
because
there.
we the back of the property, it's a junkyard, and we can 3D, cars. So we didn't know,
He's 10 feet from our. our
so
property
we didn't know
pretty much.
what run down from where. We haven't, we don't go plan the water.
The DES has been to that junk.
Oh,
They monitor it.
And it's cleared.
yeah,
Okay.
no.
He's compliant.
So
if
then
you-
at this point, the property owner or his agents would need to contact DES and they would need to certify the site before.
For those
Pass that issue?
conditions that I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, it's right here. Do you have that? Do you have the conditions?
No.
Okay,
we never saw that.
Leanne, you have a copy of these conditions? And you can make sure that they get a copy? Okay, let me read the conditions to you, and I think you have it in front of you now. Number 1 is an oil water separator to be installed in line with the storm drain to the detention pond. Okay? Compliance with state fire codes, and I believe you are in compliance with those. They have said you are. Compliance with the Tilton signage regulations. Leanne, they took down the superfluous signs, didn't they?
Yes, they did, and they got a permit for one temporary flag.
Okay. Number 4, groundwater monitoring wells will be maintained unless DES approved closure of the wells. If DES approves closure of the wells, closure will be conducted as per the DES recommendation. And I believe that's been done, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we
You
got-
can get a
need to
copy of
check
that from
get a
DES.
copy
Yeah.
from DES, okay?
Yep.
And you need downcast lighting for your exterior lighting, okay? And
Presently, they're
they come
on
right
the side
out.
of the building, pointing straight out.
Okay, they need to point down. Okay.
They need to point down.
So number 1, the oil water separators. Where is the drain? Because I have no clue even where the drain is. Is it like down the hill right in front of the building?
We're just lost on where to look. Like,
So I believe it's this, there's a
DES
storm
would
drain
have-
in
I
the
was
parking
gonna say
lot.
DES may have,
They
Okay.
probably know where it is.
yeah, DES would probably know where it is.
So
but
it
I
could
would,
already be
I
done.
would immediately get in touch with DES.
Okay.
I'll take
Okay.
no water.
And have them come out, explain the situation you're in, that you just took over the property, and that you came before the planning board, and that we were demanding things of you that you had no idea what we were talking about. And that we gave you this letter and told you that you needed to be in compliance. They'll be very helpful. They're not gonna be there to crucify you for anything. No more than we are, okay? And I know you think we are because we've had you in here so many times.
we're just trying to get through this thing. That's
Yeah,
all.
Yeah.
well, and we're trying to get you in compliance with what the regulations are for the state. Because our concerns are mechanics and gas stations and things like that, especially when you're so close to the wetlands, okay? And Leanne will help you through any of this you have problems with, okay?
The other concern that I have in the 2004 permit, there was parking spaces for 30. Now you want parking spaces for 58.
So there's 2 different businesses there now.
No, but do you want parking spaces for 58 cars?
Yes.
Yeah, well, so the whole back is right now not approved, and that's where my garage is. So really, the only parking is out front, and that's where he is. And it was probably my fault because when I took over the garage, my whole lease said that the whole back was parking. Like when you went there, where the cars lined up out back, that's what we were asking for. It's just hard for us to put cars
What
in
the
everything.
concern is, if you have customers' cars parked,
Yeah.
and you're maxed out to say 53 customer cars.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
100%.
And that's why leakage of fluids, not
Totally
just,
understandable.
just oil, but gasoline
Right,
and,
Antifreeze,
And,
anything that could and will leak.
right.
Yeah.
And you have another renter there that I understand a lot of those cars belong to the other renter.
Some do. He's here. He's been moving them though, as pretty much as we
Okay,
speak. He's been
because
moving them every day.
right now, we were told, I think, 2 weeks ago that you didn't have a lot of cars there. You have a lot of cars there,
We've got
especially in the back. You've got race cars, you've got, I don't know, I don't think all those cars are being repaired that are back there.
So the race cars are obviously race cars. Those
Yeah,
are,
we know that.
that's what I do. I
Yeah.
race cars, but on my back half, I got, I think, 4 cars that are being worked on. And then
Okay.
the rest, as you guys know, Mike, he repairs cars, but he has a car dealership, so he sells them. So it's hard for him to bring them down to one area and then bring one back at a time. But that's what he's been doing. He's been doing whatever he can to comply.
And where you guys parked earlier, that front area is mine, and it was 7 cars up there, and them cars are all customer cars, and they all out for repair, and it's that mean good business, so it's
My
like,
concern aren't those cars because I'm a frequent flyer at Dunkin' Donuts, so I see what you have parked there, and I know that those are cars that you're working on. Those are not my concern.
so as far as like the 59 or whatever cars, so based on the old site plan, it was approved for car sales, so we didn't change any of that. Basically, how this lease is written, I'm monopolizing all of the parking spaces. When they writing up more spaces, the ones right where you guys are parking, there was none approved for that area. So that added 16 spots, 14 spots, which would fit there. And the rest of the spots are along the back where, Chad leased, so he got to have spots. So I'm not saying that I don't share, but I don't share well, so.
And sometimes he has U-Hauls that get dropped off, so it's hard if I put a car out there and then I'm blocking a U-Haul, which is, I get what everybody's saying. It just, we got in a really hard spot with the lease that was written up because I went in there thinking that it was good to go, because I went by what the owner's agent said. And
Yeah.
all of a
So,
sudden, a week later, I find out I have no parking. I'm like,
so ultimately, I mean, looking at the, previous site plan and decision, if you were in compliance, would be, limited to the 26 parking spots?
39.
Yeah, so you would be limited to the 39 parking spaces, which are, as I believe it, primarily on asphalt
front,
and gravel. But the idea is that there are different requirements for storing vehicles on top of different materials. And spaces that exist and the spaces in the lease may not be the same, and that is something that the landlord would have to rectify as far as assigning out the parking between the tenants on his property.
that's how he gave it to us.
Yeah, so the E is Eric. So it brings the parking, so.
Okay, and that's not really our concern right now, I don't
Okay.
think, okay? Does the planning board have anything else?
Are you selling cars
I
there
do.
too?
I want to.
Like, are you selling them now?
Can we have just the planning board? Right now?
So I'm counting what was originally approved, but not in compliance. And I only count 30 parking spaces.
Okay.
So where everybody's parking today, there's only 2. It shows, that's the site plan.
Oh, yeah,
correct?
yeah. So, yeah, exactly.
So this is your amended,
Yes.
but there's only 30 on here.
Okay.
And it wasn't approved for rental of vehicles either. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about that, and
And-
that's why we tried to make the new plan
So,
for the rentals.
yeah. Except you have to get in compliance with the original plan first.
Okay. And I moved
And
the
then-
trucks. You see
and then you
there's
would
no
have to
rental
go-
Trucks there.
Yeah. And then you'd have to apply for, the change of use to go into the
So
rentals.
I had them come. Well, I moved the rental trucks, so they're not there. The trailers, I'm at the whim of U-Haul when they're gonna come get them because I don't have a way to, I drive a man van or a Corvette, so I don't have a way to move a trailer.
Yeah.
So, but I, as you can see, the motorized ones, they're out of there. So that's my attempt of being in compliance until I either get the nay or yay on that. So it's not that I'm trying to like say, no, forget
Yeah.
this, I'm gonna do what I want to do. But the cars in the middle, that's parked there, I have no problem with pushing them against the wall. But
But-
like when you guys pulled up and when you guys left, customers dropped their cars off right there. I mean, I can put a big X on the ground, no parking.
That's where
But
you
we
all
know
park.
that's not,
See,
Yeah.
the original approval
yes,
is
it's
for
along the wall.
total of 30 spots total, and that's it. That doesn't mean, plus 10 if people drop them off. So just be in compliance with that. And then from there, you can apply to change it. You're welcome
That's-
to do that.
So I mean,
But
I can,
there's all these things that are addressed, and I understand it's not your fault or
and
anything
I
like that.
can border it off.
You're just renting from it.
Yeah, but I can border that area in the middle, like where you guys parked. I can border that off.
All you guys pulled in there and
that's-
parked there not knowing.
That's just,
I
another
think everybody
step,
did.
that's like something that's hard to, hey, y'all, don't park there, but come in for business.
Or if a
So,
tow truck drops the car off, that's where they drop them. We can't control that at midnight. unless we
but I
stay
can,
there.
I can put concrete barriers there and put a chain
but-
around them so they won't, I can do that if we want to go to that extreme. I don't have a problem with that.
Presently, there's,
I don't
how many,
think-
you counted how many spots, cars are there now?
I counted more than
I
30,
counted-
39, 39, didn't you?
I counted 39 cars outside plus 2 forklifts and a international rollback.
I have a car in my head too. So,
And that 4 cars inside.
Business good.
I don't believe that we're gonna, I mean, if we want to count every car, yes, we can do that, but 39 out there, international with 2 forklifts versus 30 is approved. That's cool. We can trim them down. We can trim them down and we can keep them down. But when we start doing like that, we got to go up and down this strip and start picking at everybody, for 39 cars for site plan. So are we going to be that, that precise?
We're not going to keep a police officer.
But we will if that's, what
No,
you,
no,
what
that's
you
not-
require of us.
that's
I
not our
just
intent.
wanna
You
be
just
in
have to be in
compliance.
compliance, that's all.
So 39, we can trim that down. We can definitely trim that down. That's not.
Or
that's
30,
not-
because this shows 30.
Yes, that shows 30. And
Yeah.
we thought it was 39. That's why we kept saying 39. I don't know
Yeah,
why we
okay.
thought it was 39, but we trying to be in compliance. So we 9 off. I'm-
I
that's,
thought it was 39. I thought I counted more than 30.
On this, wait. It
Yeah, I
says
think we can do
5
just parking out
5
back.
and 8 and 9 and 6 plus 2.
16 in the back line. There's 5 spaces, in the sideline, there's 5 spaces for employees. 8 spaces, 9 existing. And then there's 14 more spaces plus 6 spaces up by the road.
Which
I
plan-
added it up.
No, those are what he's applying for,
That-
these other
yeah.
ones.
This is the original, what was,
Right, exactly. I don't have that, but I know what
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
so that's the 30 there.
This is what on the revised plan, and he has 58 parking spaces.
So it's not here for the revised, right?
Okay,
I thought we were.
John, is this not this bottom piece on
I
the
didn't know that.
original?
That's why I'm here, because I'm just trying to get
Oh,
spots.
okay.
Here's the original.
Oh, okay. So
So
that's what I
until we-
counted
So every
that.
car I have out there right now is not compliant. So I gotta literally move all
but
the cars.
every one,
Well, all the ones out back, there's nothing out back for cars, so I can have nothing out there. I'm not in compliance. Every day I do this. So every car that sits out back, I'm not in compliance.
so it's 32.
How are we supposed to be in compliance when I'm trying to run that's why I'm here today. That's why I passed the papers in. I paid for the permits and everything I have to do. That's why I thought I was here today to get something
25, 30.
approved.
Yeah, okay.
There's no,
We are all in a hard spot. The owner doesn't help us, obviously, you guys know
Yeah.
that. I'm doing whatever I
Okay,
can.
yep.
I pay almost $4,000 a month. He pays $4,000 a month. We're here fighting our battles. But
Oh,
I have
are you looking for conditional approval?
Yes.
For the
All right.
parking, I believe. For the parking?
By the
So,
park?
something that I could park a car out back to work
Parking,
on.
okay.
For the parking.
I have a couple other ones. This other drawings on here that says fenced-in storage, that wasn't fenced. Is this something you're gonna be
No,
doing?
that-
We were asking for
That's what we're
that
adding to put
because
dumpsters
it's a
and whatnot in.
dumpster and for like a crash car.
like a car
You know,
that gets bringing it smashed up, so you guys don't have to see it. We put it behind the gate, and then
'Cause we-
when the parts come in, we
we
fix
do
it.
have to rip engines out of cars when they rolled over and put in the customer a new car. There's
The
so
fence
much-
wasn't there though, right?
No, we asked
that's
for that.
that's
So
what
this
we're
is what
at.
you're gonna do. Okay, so we've got, the dumpster will be in a protected area.
Yes,
Okay.
along with like Eric said, a smashed
And then
up
you're
car
looking
if it
for
comes in.
17 and 14 parking spots.
So you're asking for the parking?
Asking for parking. That I think that's the only parking and storage.
Yeah.
That's what we asking for
Yeah.
to be approved on our new list.
Okay.
Everything else continue, stays the same.
And we'll get a hold of the state like you guys suggested.
Yeah, you have to get a
Yeah.
hold of the state.
That's really, really
that's a
Oh, no,
big one.
important.
absolutely.
That's
We
important
just
to
didn't
us.
know what we're doing.
Right.
We go by every time we come every month to what.
The last thing we want to do is, put you guys out of business.
The
And,
area right
you
in
know,
front of the bays, that's very important. The areas back there where he is operating is very important, and
Yeah.
I said again, I'm mad at Mike because his vehicle that he was driving
He put a
wasn't
car out
one of my
front.
spots, and I don't play.
I gotta break a fight out.
And it's not that I'm mean. It's just that this is mine. I pay for this, and I want it like I want it. How I
You
want
got
it.
mad at us because we parked in those places.
Yes, exactly. So,
And then we're here because we're not in compliance.
And you got your dog after us because I saw that.
The dog ain't gonna hurt you.
All right. I'm ready to entertain a conditional approval.
Well, I don't think we can approve anything if it's not in compliance with original, and we have wetlands that are being,
But the
drainage.
parking, and they're gonna get in
Parking.
touch
Just the
with
parking.
With the
Yeah.
parking right now. I mean,
And then they're gonna
And then-
remove the
they're gonna
barrels,
remove the barrels. And they're
get
going to
DES.
when you call the
contact
state,
DES
Put
and
the
you got a
fence
hold
in.
of whoever you got a hold of
well,
at
the
the state.
biggest issue is
Show
that
you
everything's draining directly
follow
into the
Correct,
wetlands
correct.
now, and that has to stop. And the
Why
only way
they're
to
gonna
do
get in
that
touch
is
Biggest
with
issue.
DES
the
immediately.
stuff draining into the
Drainage.
wetlands.
Drainage,
Yeah, the
yeah.
whole
Yeah.
lot now drains directly into the wetlands, directly.
It's
And that's,
so much rain in that lot being
It's-
them puddles. We see all them puddles in the runoff, so we do understand how important that is. And that's like done. We consider. I mean, you come get by the time you come get your coffee
You-
tomorrow, it'll be done.
Well, your number
But-
one, your number one.
She
your
gets there at
number
4 in the
one-
morning, so.
It might not be done though.
If we get out in time tonight, I'll be there tonight, so. You can't do it.
Ron, maybe we could put
Uh,
a
you
time
need-
frame on
yeah,
the DES.
We
hunting.
need to see you do something with DES. That's the
Yeah,
most important.
him and I will we'll start.
I mean,
calling
we've
them
got to
up.
find out about, I don't know what they're gonna do about the
Oh, yeah.
retention pond.
So
I really don't know what they're gonna do about the detention pond.
the DES, we're going to be at their mercy of when they're going to come
Yes,
out,
you
and
are.
that's going to kill us. So right now, I must ask, can we have some type of leeway to get the ball rolling with them? I will call tomorrow. I mean, I do whatever I have to do to keep the ball rolling, but it's going to take them some time to come out here.
We have a lot of overhead in this, and we don't want
Well,
to lose it.
I don't think the purview of the planning board is to allow you
No.
to, right now, the way the parking lot's pitched isn't per the plan. So everything in the parking lot now drains along the front, towards the front of the building, into that ditch, right into the wetlands.
Okay.
Everything. The whole parking lot, just because it was filled all back there, which is a problem. That's, you understand.
So you want us to move all the cars in the lot off the property? Because that's what it seemed like we heading towards, is because
Yep. Somebody has to go and stop that from happening. And how are you going to do
How
that?
come you guys didn't catch it when
I
it
mean,
got filled in a long time ago?
I got a
like Mike's
Johnny.
been there for years.
I got a Johnny and I.
We would have no reason to unless somebody comes and, like you have,
Right.
to open a new
When
business.
DSS show up, when they show up,
Nobody knew they cut all the trees down back there.
they're gonna tell you,
Like there was 4 acres of trees that disappeared
Well,
within a couple years' time. Nobody knew.
We got a really heavy burden coming right now. So would you like me to go get ledge and sand and build it up behind the
I
building?
can't tell you how to do
We
it.
don't know that.
Okay.
That would,
Call
but-
DES.
We're not engineers.
But I'm catching the vibe that you want these cars off the premises.
I don't want the drainage going directly into the wetland.
That's what
And to
we don't want.
comply, if you look at the original plan,
Yeah.
it shows the water should have been pitched.
Yeah.
So that would not go directly into the wetlands. Everything from that lot would go into that detention pond. And that's why the detention pond is there. So that was
What's
apparently
there?
filled in.
But by tomorrow,
And-
like we can clean up the barrels and clean the ground, but we can't stop the pitch when it rains. So I'm trying to figure out.
Well,
what
the
I-
landowner will probably be in pretty steep trouble for allowing that to happen. You can't have oil drain to the wetlands. We can't give you
Absolutely.
permission to.
Yeah, no.
We ain't
So-
gonna agree.
Yeah, we don't want to drain
No,
oil
we
into
just-
there.
Well,
the sheer, like you said, is it goes that direction, so by with the rain just washing a ground, car lot, so it's gonna be,
It's like Walmart when it rains. You see
it's gonna
oil
be
flowing all
runoff,
over the place.
it's washing off, but like I'm just getting that inkling that you asking to move them cars off of the lot. What are you asking? Like,
No.
We need to stop the water from going into all this oil. You don't have any drains in the base, right? So when you wash the floors or anything spills in there, it all goes into the parking lot. The whole parking lot is pitched towards the front and runs along there, along with the barrels that are leaking there. And that all runs right to the front and right into the wetlands.
In the street,
You're
in
right
the
on the
road,
borderline with the wetlands.
in the road, everything from the road because I mean, remember I was there in the winter, so when it snowed, and you had to see
I'm looking at
through,
this.
it was literally, it come up to my ankles. You can't get in a lot because it was so high. So everything from the road in the building pitched to the mailbox. So I don't understand. I don't know.
It's almost like a slope, and then it goes down into the drainage
We
system
can
into
look
that
at,
other pond.
you can look at the plans.
But
you
again,
can see the
that's
pictures.
why we wanted the owner to be here.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
really,
Trust me,
I
I
know
wish he
you're
was,
trying
but
to
we
run a
kinda stuck
business
with it.
there, but it's the owner's problem.
Absolutely,
Okay.
100%.
And
But we're stuck in a 3-year lease here, and we put over $100,000, and that's why, as you see, we are here every time there's a meeting.
so we need an architect to stop the flow of the pitch. Is that what
I
you're
would
saying?
call DES and
Yes.
see what they want you
Yeah.
to do.
They're the ones who are going to tell you what to do,
All right.
because,
That's all you need.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's what you need, is they're going to show up, they're going to tell you exactly what to do, follow their advice. And
So, what about the pond that you and I found out back? That's nothing to do with the pond you guys are looking for? No?
No.
Okay, I was just asking, because there's.
they're going to
It's
have
just
the
a low
original,
spot.
they're going to have the
You're
original.
gonna have the original
Yeah, they're
plan
gonna
that
have the
we
original.
had
Okay.
that showed you where it should be, and it's not there, and you can
He'll have the
you
measurements.
can see where it's been filled in. As a matter of fact, if you look at the
Aerial.
the aerial view, this view, I don't know if you have a copy
Were
of
the
this
trees out
one.
there then?
You can see where it's been filled.
Yeah, that's probably when he clear cut it all. I'm guessing. Like I said, I've only been there 2 months,
Yeah.
but I do know it used to be all woods back there, and then he clear cut it when he got sick. He sold the wood and sold the building.
And remember, when trees are cut, it changes the contour of the land and changes what lands can appear or disappear
Right.
when timber's cut.
So I guess what we're asking is temporary parking or approval for the parking.
We'll call the state. do
Call the
everything we
state, get DES involved, and get their corrections and bring them back to the board. And
Mhm.
then we continue with the original site plan other than the.
And then we'll discuss the original site plan and approve or disapprove that. I'll give you
And keep it
conditions for
down.
that.
Okay, yes.
For the extra
Well, when they come on with the site plan, they will give us the request for the additional parking. Is that correct?
Already got the site plan for that.
Okay, all right.
All right, I'm sorry.
Leanne, do you have that?
So,
The
and the other
site plan
thing,
for the
you have to
additional
have some
parking?
type of storage for oil exterior, which
Yeah.
secondary containment, because
Exterior,
that's an issue too. And then the dumpster, we traditionally, we have it fenced in because
Yeah, we.
bears and everything
You
else.
put that, yeah.
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 So all that would be on the plan with the fence.
This new site
I
plan?
can't see that, you say these aren't parking, but inside this fenced-in area, if you're gonna be storing cars that are damaged or,
It's just so you
doing-
guys don't have to see. it,
And
you know.
so
Yeah,
you want
well-
the number of spots inside the fenced-in area also?
that's more vehicles stored on the property. So, and what type of surface is gonna be in there? Because typically when we have storage for
Sorry, let's
vehicles
go.
like that, they ask for impervious surfaces
We'll
and
update
stuff
that.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're not gonna
So
build the fence overnight. I mean, we won't.
We
Obviously, when we come back next.
Yeah,
we'll-
we
we'll
can't
do
even
this,
build the
so,
fence until, unless we get approval. So, but we
Yeah.
will add that in a new plan because, I mean, it's just to keep some of keep the area neat, like we might stuff race cars in there. So if we got 6 spots for the race cars, instead of having them be in the public, then so be it. But
The riding
know,
tractor.
yeah,
something.
we don't want things to be the international, that's a viable asset to the business if I fix the rust, but things of that nature to be outside of the public's vision. So we will look, so we,
Yeah, even if they're outside the public's vision, if you have vehicles that are in various damage, whether it's wrecks or something like that, you're doing work on, or taking engines out, you have to plan for where all the leakage from that goes and all that. This is this whole area, there's a lien or something with the Registry of Deeds on it. It's a groundwater protection area, which is to Mike Rivers,
Don't you have one of those
book
pools that go underneath the car pull?
2444, page 29. And that outlines the compliance that whole lot has to be in. That's a very tricky lot.
That guy was just renegade, huh?
What's
'Cause
that?
Right.
Mike
I-
Rivers,
I-
he didn't apply to, I mean,
In-
Well,
well,
we can't say that.
Yeah.
We don't know what.
right.
what
I mean, wasn't nothing,
transpired.
he didn't comply with anything.
If
And
if somebody, your landlord purchases a lot.
Yeah.
That's way out of compliance.
I
It's
know.
not your fault.
Hmm.
right?
no, it's gonna be our fault,
So-
because there's a lot of money
Yeah,
involved in
it's gonna be
this.
us
not
going
your
down and losing all the
And I
money.
guess my biggest concern in all this is, I mean, if we get shut down, the town ain't gonna forget, and then that will lose business forever. You
It's gonna
know,
make us look
that's
bad.
not, yeah, that will be an eyesore, and it's a failure point, you know.
Well, that's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to put you out of business.
Well, I understand.
I mean, it's
you know.
4 years. We don't want to, that's your life. We don't want to do that. But
If we had wanted to do that, we'd have done that
Oh,
way
yeah.
back when you first came in here.
But the problem is,
We're doing everything we can to improve.
we
it.
can't
See that.
say that certain people are allowed to go and park cars that are leaking or have improper drainage or their
Understandable.
water from their business draining directly into a wetland. We can't,
Understandable.
that's not
Yeah.
a,
And if a car comes in that's smashed up, we do have these pools that slide underneath the car that catches way more oil than the thing can hold.
all
Same
that,
with him doing that.
all your provisions should be submitted in
We
a
did not
plan.
know none of this,
Yeah.
and we will update it.
So you should
Okay.
check for, there's
We just
zoning.
didn't know. We're brand new at this, but we don't
So
let stuff drain.
You can
outside.
look at the zoning regulations that are within the town on it, as well as the DES regulations and proper practices for it. It's a lot. There's a lot involved,
I mean,
and it's all,
we're here once a month
Yep.
to do it. And, you see us all the time. We ain't giving up. We're
Mm-hmm.
doing what we have to do. We're just asking if we can get a temporary approval for the parking, because if we don't, we're gonna be not in compliance every day that goes by. Because we can't.
well, you are.
You automatically are.
You
'cause
are
of
anyway.
that. Yeah, so don't
Parking's
worry
not.
about it.
Well, I am worried
Yeah.
about it, because that's the thing.
Well,
That,
see, these are all the zoning regulations, and that's,
I know.
is there a zoning for race? Is there like an ordinance for race cars I should know about? Because I was
Um,
thinking I can have as many race
Nope.
cars as I want, and now all of a sudden I can only have one.
I have a race car.
Do you?
And I don't have it outside.
Well, I have a garage.
Lucky.
Do you have more than one unregistered car?
We
All right.
can't get them going.
For extra parking. Is
Well,
that
we're not gonna
property,
shut 'em down
is
if
that
it's-
section
Not
of
gonna
West
shut 'em
Main
down.
Street state-owned road or
my
town-owned road?
concern is the wet.
That's all state
That's
road.
my-
Okay, so then as far as the parking lot, that would be, they'd have to deal with
They can't say you
DOT
can't.
3 as far as any
Only on
updates or
entrances.
changes.
Only on entrances in and out of it.
So get in touch
But
with
not state road.
DES
Yes.
first thing tomorrow, okay? Ask them to please
Put priority.
put priority on it, number one, to get somebody out there to look at the situation. Leanne, you'll be available if they need you, is that correct? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but Leanne will be around to help you. She'll have any forms that you might need to get you in compliance. That's our major concern, what's happening to the wetlands.
You have a hand up. Public, is a hand up for public.
Yeah, this is Chuck.
Oh, hi, Chuck.
Thank you. Normally, when a lot is under construction and equipment is in there and they do refueling of vehicles on the property, that some kind of a refueling pad or at least a concrete pad is put in place in order to catch any leakage. And in the case where these you have those large barrels filled with oil, even if they're going to be moved, I'm not sure where they would be moved, but they should be put into an area where there can be some containment, whether it's in the garage or outside the garage. I just thought I would throw in my 2 cents worth. Thank you.
They're right outside the garage now.
It would be a secondary
Yeah.
containment.
I
That's a
think
DS
3
requirement.
275-gallon drums, so we can fill them, get them in the building. Alleviate that, and then as far as waste oil from here on out, we can have the trucks come pump it, so we can rectify that like really easy.
Anything else? Anything else from the audience? All right, please keep in close touch with Leanne as to what's going on. Okay,
So what's the decision?
that they need to get in touch with DES right away.
But on their parking spaces, that
Oh,
well, temporary,
They have to operate.
they have to
well,
operate.
yeah, well, you have to officially approve that.
Oh,
Would have to be
Well,
what you're
they're
going to
doing it. I
allow
think
you
we
to
already
do.
approved
So it's
that
on the
parking
record that
lot
we
part.
said, okay, or
All right, then I'll make a motion to allow them to continue to park in the
total.
on the
spots.
front and the side until they can come in with an official site plan that we can approve.
I'll second that.
Any
Do we get a
discussion?
number of spots, number of vehicles?
14 and 17.
That sufficient,
Total.
14 and 17?
So I believe that's what they're looking to add on top of the existing 30 spaces, correct?
Yeah. Which are already, they're already parking there. Yeah. This is just a temporary approval.
So you're asking for what? How many you're asking for? 58?
A total of
58.
58 spots.
38, I thought.
Oh,
And
58.
they already have 30
Oh.
approved.
Yeah,
Okay.
this,
Okay.
39 covers everything currently on the
Okay.
property.
All right, so that would be to
Ooh.
allow them to continue to park the number of cars they have there today. And we have a second. Any more discussion? John, are you all right with that?
We have 30 spots and we're going to allow how many more?
What they have, what they
they had
are using
today.
today.
Well, what is
that
that?
was 39.
39.
39
Why don't we just
today.
go with 39, because that's what they got.
So a total of
Yeah,
39
today.
spots altogether.
Yeah.
Total number of spots
Until they-
on our vehicles on the property will be
Correct.
not exceed 39.
Yes. Is that, you all right with that?
So
Did
it's
you count ours when we were parked there or no? So he's gonna need that front of where we took, so there has to be more than 39.
Yeah, 39, a total of 39 cars you can have there.
30.
30.
So you're getting an additional 9 spaces, and then as far as where the parking spots are,
Well,
would
that'll be
based-
decided at the site plan. I understand, but that's really not our concern, how much you pay for the rent. Our concern is protecting the wetlands and protecting the town, okay? And we need to see you in compliance with that. So that's why we allowed you to continue with 39 spaces, okay?
The property
All right.
has 39 spaces. Be
You
divvied up
you
by
understand, and
the
you'll get, all right,
owner
okay,
or the representatives.
correct.
Yeah, so we're at
We
total
did.
of 39.
Because
Yes.
it's approved
So then
Or 30.
for
I-
30.
there's
We
30 on
counted
the plan now.
39.
the owner
30
may
on-
need
yeah,
That's what
to
we counted,
yeah.
so.
clarify the
All right,
number of
let's just
spaces
keep the discussion.
versus the locations.
Is there
Let's keep this
conditions for
discussion.
how long that's approved for?
All right,
Well,
How long is that approved for?
I'd like to see them come back next month.
Or the
at
next
least
meeting?
next month.
At the next meeting?
Yeah,
The next
well,
meeting,
the next meeting
give
may
us
be
an-
the end of this month if we have enough business to, because we usually
Well,
have 2 meetings,
Why don't we
so,
do it in September?
in
Give them
September.
a month.
Okay, in
First-
September.
First
Yeah.
meeting in September,
First
the
meeting in
first,
September.
At least give us
We'd
an
like to see
update.
you back,
You know, right, at least give us an update and,
okay?
If you get a hold of DES.
Yeah.
And they say they're not gonna come out for one.
Yeah.
They will let you know that they're not
Yeah.
gonna come out for one. And you get that certified, you say you want it in writing.
Yeah.
And you can bring that before us.
Yeah.
See, you gotta have that duck in a row like type of thing.
Yeah.
Don't take anybody's word for that, just.
Always get it in writing.
Okay,
Can we also have a clarification on the U-Haul, if that's going to be allowed or not allowed, just for clarification?
I thought it was not going to be, I thought you were removing that, is that correct? Okay. But that'll be at your site plan.
I think
At
he
the
said he was
final.
gonna do a change of use to add that.
And you had come in originally and asked for a change of use, and then you withdrew that. So if you want to do the change of use, you need to refile that. And then we'll have the site plan, okay, but we want it it's serious, cleaned up all the issues that have come up in the meetings that we've had with you. Okay?
I wouldn't do the change of use until you get a lot of this done.
Let's get this
So you can
done,
still do.
and then you
yeah.
can do the change of use. That's what I would recommend as well.
So
All
if
right,
I
so
can
we have a
just,
motion.
can I ask one more question before you finalize? So just so everyone understands, also sales, there'll be no sales of cars there, is that correct?
Correct.
You're not in compliance with that. If you get in compliance with that site plan, then you
Was it a
could
sale
file
before?
a new site plan for change of use to increase parking, increase sales, increase
All right, we don't need Nate.
all sites. Sorry.
Okay, we only need one person to be addressing him, so. Okay, so we'll expect to see you the first meeting that we have in September. Okay, and it's like I said, if you run into issues or you have problems, keep in touch with Leanne. Okay?
Thank
We
you.
have a motion on the floor and it's been seconded. Any more discussion?
The motion for the scribe, please.
Um, Did you do the motion?
I second.
Okay, yeah, you seconded. To allow them to continue, to come into compliance, to continue to have a number of parking spaces they have now, which I believe is, we said 39.
We're going
And
up,
to
yeah, we're going up 9.
We'll
do
go, yeah.
the mechanical, the repair, and that's it. And there's a second. Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. They've gone. All right.
Feel bad, but
Well, I feel bad too, but that's not, nothing we can really do about it.
right.
All right.
Give us that copy of the mics. I think it's right there.
Leanne, could you
So-
send us a copy of the Mike's
Conditional approval.
conditions?
The conditional approval?
John had the letter. The rest of us don't have the letter. I'd like to
Okay.
have it for our future
Yep.
meeting.
I think it was in one of the previous packets, but I will send it again electronically to you. And the next applicant is 515 West Main.
Yeah.
And this was for an auto repair. It's a single auto repair use. Scott is here. Scott, if you can go up and address them. This went through our office and was approved, but it was requested they come to planning board for review.
Make a motion to bring the application to the board.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So this one's missing a mailing address too. Yeah, if you give the copy of the application.
Of the tax card, which has the actual address on it
So-
and a copy of the file.
The property owner's actual address.
Yeah, from the property card. Do you want the property card?
And also says business owner's mailing address. That's not on here.
Barbara.
It's a Barbudos,
Oh.
and I'm not
They're
sure
both
where
the
they
same.
moved.
Yeah, it's on there. And the mailing address of the applicant is 291 Province Road in Gilmanton, New Hampshire.
Okay, so if you don't, yeah, I guess, do you have the original application?
Yeah.
Or maybe you can fill it in.
Yeah, I have it right here. Yeah,
Oh, is it on there?
yeah, it's on
that
there.
one?
It's on the
Okay, so
application.
the one that we have doesn't have those.
Oh,
Yeah.
yep, it's on there. And the Barbudos is in a trust. Yep.
On the lease is the Barbados Trust address.
Yeah, there should be a copy of the lease in there.
Yeah, it's on here.
Yeah.
It's
He
on
wants
the application.
He
It's
wants it
supposed to be on
filled
there.
in here.
Yeah, I should
That's
fill out the
the thing about
application
that.
full. Has the violation's been corrected or? Okay. Which are the last two?
The CSST.
Okay, so the rear door, westward back door, lock shut, 2 bad locks, that's corrected. Extinguishers, yeah, extinguisher in customer area, electrical panel, that's the cover.
Yep.
And did they recheck? Or, so if you can,
They haven't rechecked it.
I would think they'd give you a copy, Leanne, after it's done, when you get.
Yep, when I get it.
Wouldn't they give that to us anyway? Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the application. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Is that the application is substantially complete? Okay.
Do you have a COO yet or not? Or do you have a
And now we can ask.
temporary
questions.
COO? Certificate of occupancy? That's what the fire department would be inspecting for, right?
This
Yeah.
is right here. Where? Um, what lot am I looking at on
So
here?
did they give you a certificate of occupancy?
That's it.
Fire gave him a temporary certificate of occupancy upon,
Okay.
You know what the trailer rental is.
Yeah, I didn't
With those
have
violations.
this.
This?
All right, so you
Yeah,
have
it wasn't
Oh, here it
attached
is.
here.
Okay.
I'm
Okay,
sure
I
they'll-
see it. Okay.
So I know driving by, took a look, you have a bunch of extra signs and a plywood sign out front, and you're going to put another sign on there? Or is- Mhm. If you can give them a temporary sign permit, Leanne, for that?
Very sign
Yep,
permit.
so you're covered for that. And then the other ones are the flags. And how long is that valid for? 90 days? Okay, so you got all that. Looks like everything's, it's a nice, neat spot.
Yeah.
Commend you for that. It looks great. It's where, yeah.
I could ask where you're gonna plan to put the dumpster.
If you read through the contract, the Barbudas are pretty clear on what
Yeah.
they expect.
The other thing too is on your application, it says days and hours of opening, 8 AM to 5 PM, but it doesn't. Monday through Friday, you're not working Saturday or Sunday?
We're in there.
Right now, it's approved for 7 parking spaces.
Any other questions from the planning board?
So we're adding parking spots for this site plan.
This is not a site plan.
Oh, it's current use,
Change
so
of
we can't add the parking spots.
Did they-
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's already-
Okay.
It was,
What are you gonna do?
retail.
As you heard the previous people, what are you gonna do with the oil? Huh.
As, get a secondary containment. I think you've probably seen those.
Yeah.
Like a big plastic type bin
Plastic
with a
bin.
rack, so if it does leak, it stays contained in there.
Yeah, we're very limited on that.
I hope you get your sign soon. Any other questions from the planning board? Any questions from the audience? I'll close the audience. Okay.
Approve it. Yeah,
Change of use.
yeah. So approve the change of use, and that's pending the,
With conditions, maybe?
just pending the fire department.
Yeah. but
So
they
if they don't
would-
approve you,
And you're
then
gonna let Leanne know that.
yeah.
Well, any outside lighting.
Yeah, the Barbudas it was the Barbudas operated that,
Okay.
so they're aware of all those things. Okay. So we have a motion, is there a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And you'll let Leanne know when the fire department approves those changes you're gonna do. Okay, thank you.
Gentlemen.
oh, it's cold in here.
All right. Next is a change of use for 303 Laconia Road. Map R22, lot 15. E. Anderson and Son Holding LLC want to install a 20 by 20 prefab shed for storage.
So
I make-
the applicant is the owner. This is the applicant. He wants to put a shed on the property that is located at 303 Laconia Road. There is no business there, there's no use there, and the shed would not be subordinate to any building. So I told me I'd come from the planning board. It's a commercial piece of property. And there's no water or sewer there.
Cluing on where it was, do you remember when there was a temporary barbecue place on the side of the road?
Oh, yeah.
It's there. They were there only a short time one summer, I believe.
You're gonna use the shed for?
Speaking to the mic, and it doesn't even look like
Oh,
the
you
mic is
push the little
on.
button too, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Good.
all right. Mhm.
I mean, I originally, because there's a slab there, I want to, it's just a prefab 20 by 20. They sell it right at the Home Depot right down here. I originally wanted to like get that shed there, and then there's the little shack, and maybe like rent it to like a contractor or something. 'Cause there's a sign there and all that. But after like talking with Leanne, I'm just in a jam right now because I thought that I was like approved with my building permit. So like I poured the slab and I already paid for the shed, and like they're all over me about like it's been built and like waiting to be dropped off. So I mean, use it for storage, or if I couldn't come back or get someone else to come in and try to get another change of use to rent it, I'll sell the property. And I just think that it'll bring me much more money with a brand new 20 by 20 shed than just an abandoned piece of land, you know? But I mean, in the meantime, if the shed's up there and I can't rent it, I got plenty of side by sides and motorcycles and plenty of equipment. And I don't have a garage at my house, so it's already paid for and it's just sitting there.
Let us look over the application. Make a motion to bring the application to the table.
second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 The last approved use that I could find on this property was for a limousine service. I don't know if any of you remember that, but that's the only use I could find. That was quite a few years ago.
There is water. There's no septic, but there's a well there. It's just not hooked up into like the little building. There's just a well, and it comes right on the side of the little shack. I don't know what to call it. There's just a water line coming up that's hooked up to like a hose. You know what I'm saying?
How large is that existing?
Shit.
20 by 20.
5, 2
No,
by 2,
the one
10
that
by
I'm
10?
putting in is like 20 by 20, but the one that's there now is maybe 12 by 10. You know, it's got that shack has power. There's power coming from the street. There's got its own meter there and all that type of stuff too. It was a barbecue place, the limo place. I checked on Google Earth before that. It was like a wood selling place. It looked like the guy sold like cordwood
There's
or
scrap wood and stuff.
scrap
It's
wood.
never been a ongoing business of any kind that I can remember. Ever.
Yeah, no,
I don't
I
remember when the limousine.
I
service
didn't
was
know
there,
all
but
of this
before
too.
my
When
time.
I had just purchased the property, there was a cleaning company operating out of there. So I had no idea that like when I bought it that they're gone now, that I evicted them, but I didn't know that it didn't have an approved use.
Are these the property bound lines on this plan? It's this here, right? Where are the property bound lines? These?
Property right next door to
Here we-
315.
here?
Right, to bring it to the board. For asking questions.
A lot of land, but like this is
Property boundary lines
I
are,
think right here. Right
Okay.
here, and then this.
I want to make a motion to accept the application as
Approve.
And I'll
Complete.
second that.
Thank you.
All in
I
favor?
had a question on that.
Can you wait till we, on the application?
On the application,
Okay,
yeah. It says describe proposed signage, and it says sign already on site.
I mean, I didn't know like
The location of proposed signs and other advertising.
there is a really nice sign that's already there. It's like a lighted sign, a nice one. So I didn't know if I should just include that and whatnot in case I didn't want to have to like take it down.
There
So
is
it's
a si-
existing.
Where's the sign?
Oh yeah, it's right there. It's big. It's one of those nice ones where you put you can like slide the letters on there.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah.
got
I know
power
what you're
to it. It's
talking about
wired
now.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, one thing I don't understand is from
We
Charles.
have a motion on the floor to accept the application,
And
and we have a second, and John.
and this one doesn't have a mailing address, property owner.
The applicant is the owner.
Okay, so it should be filled out.
Okay.
complete and
Oh,
properly.
there's little ditto signs here, that's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is
that what that is?
John?
Yeah.
I was running low on ink.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor of accepting the application? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh, that's accept in favor. It's just a little late before you said impose.
Now we can ask questions.
Okay, now I ask question, John.
So it says proposed paved display area, parking area. You're proposing to pave that?
No, when I'm not planning on it, but when I went over the plan with Leanne, that was already like in a previous approved plan, I guess, or something. I'm not planning on paving it at all, but
I think the limousine company, this is from their approved plan that I think they were going to pave it to park their limousines there, but I don't know that
I
they ever even
never
used
remember
it.
it coming in or anything. So this plan
John,
shouldn't say.
I think it was
paved.
before our time. I really do. I don't ever remember a limousine service being there.
Oh, I do, yeah.
You do?
But his application says that on the plan here, it says a proposed paved display parking area.
Yep.
So we're not asking for it to be paved?
I have no plans in paving it at this time.
It's already paved, right?
No,
No.
No.
the dealership next door is
Okay.
paved. That's just like it's like a gravel, nice gravel.
So if there's already a structure on the property, I don't understand the building inspector comment about there not being a primary structure, therefore.
It's a shack, isn't it? It's just a
Shed, it's another shed.
lean-to shed, little tiny thing.
Yeah.
Lean-to
You don't
sounds
even
better
know it
than
was there.
shack.
But do you saying there needs to be a primary structure in order for there to be an accessory structure in his letter? But there's already an accessory structure on the property, so how would that happen in the first place?
Oh, I don't know how that happened. That was long before our time, but yeah, it's just another accessory structure. You can't have an accessory to an accessory.
Right.
And there's no use, and there's no sewer, and there's no, I mean, I just need to know what the use is going to be.
But what's the use gonna be? Just,
He's got a
So, I mean,
Storage.
storage, like
Storage
for
shed.
now, I need the use to get, I'm here because I can't get my building permit to drop that shed down without a use of storage, and then if I plan on renting it out in the future or whatnot, the new tenant can come down here and see if he can get approved for whatever they would like to, but
Okay. It's a red tape issue, is it not? I like it.
So it's a process
Want to
issue
make a
where
move?
Any
should have come
questions
here
about
first.
the board? No?
Also, quite a bit of wetlands there, so this whole property is wet beyond that line, so.
So wouldn't they have to go to ZBA if it's not allowed? If you're not allowed to have a structure unless you have a primary structure, wouldn't be the purview of the planning board to approve something you would have to go to ZBA for. So
even for storage?
you cannot have a,
It's the zoning, it's a zoning.
yeah,
Right, they can go to zoning, then would you want them to come back to planning if they got approval to put the shed there for the use?
I think we could give conditional proof and
Upon approval by zoning?
approval by ZBA. And then that way they give you permission to not abide by the actual,
Primary structure.
the primary structure rule. We can't skirt around rules. We have to follow them. So, but we can say if they allow it,
Then we can.
then we can.
okay. Can I put the shed up like temporary or
I'll-
something?
I'll make a motion to let
I'm
him-
gonna lose my money.
Yeah.
I'd say it's
We can't do that. That's against
Even
the zoning laws in
can't
town. We
give him
can't,
a conditional pending.
you're allowing
zoning
somebody to
approval?
create a structure we know is non-conforming and there's a law on it that's
Okay.
voted in by the legislative body and the procedure is to ZBA. So it should have gone to ZBA in the beginning.
I'm just doing what I'm told. That's the only reason I came here, is 'cause
Yeah.
I said to come here.
So did Chuck tell you to come here?
Chuck approved it.
because
Chuck approved it. I went in and applied for a building permit. Chuck said, "You're all set. Go ahead," and I paid for it. And then I have my guys come out and drop a slab. And then after the slab's dropped, I get a letter in the mail saying that I can't put up that shed because there's no approved use. So then I tried to put in my use here, saying that I'm going to use it as storage. And we're talking about a prefab shed
20
that they literally sell at the Tilton Home Depot. Like anyone can go and look at it. This isn't a building there. The reason that I'm here is because the company that Home Depot uses to put the shed in won't drop that thing down there without a building permit. So like I'm like backtracking the whole thing.
We can't issue a building permit.
I get it, but the
Right,
whole
so-
reason
so
that I'm here is if I get a change of use, then they can issue me a building permit. And
So
then
you
I
don't
can-
have the building permit now?
No, I thought I had it. That's
No,
why.
the building permit was never issued.
Yeah.
Okay, never.
we're not the board that is allowed to give you an exception for change of use. Only the ZBA can. That's not our, we're not allowed to do that.
Well,
You don't do
so
change of
per
use?
per
That's what-
Chuck, he is asking for a site plan and for land use and planning board to review it. I'm assuming if we review it and approve it, and you go back to Chuck, then he would give the
Yeah, I
permit.
agree.
So I don't believe zoning has to be involved, otherwise Chuck would have specified so
Well,
per code.
I can tell you right now, it says zoning ordinance says you can't do it. We cannot override a zoning ordinance.
Right, so
The ZBA, is that
John,
correct, Leanne?
John's correct. So what the planning board can do is approve the change pending zoning
Okay.
board approval on the restriction for the primary structure. I think that's where John was trying to go.
Yeah.
And then if the zoning board were to approve it, then the permit would be issued. If the zoning board does not approve it, then they can't put it
So
on.
your next stop
Okay.
But you won't have to come back to us.
won't have to come
and
back to us.
That's,
If you make that condition of approval, then they wouldn't have to come back here again.
no, I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
I'll second. Oh, you- All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
You had public,
Oh, okay, public?
Yeah, my only concern is that there is still apparently a workable well on the property. If water is going to be used on that property, how is the water going to be disposed of? Is there going to be like a gray water facility on it, or should that water be disconnected for the time being until such time as there would be some way to dispose of water usage on the property, especially with the adjacent wetlands?
I didn't, that's
It's,
right.
we
I
already
didn't think.
approved anyway.
Yeah,
He's
you
not-
approved it, but that was before any comment was permitted. So that's why I thought I wanted to throw that out, because in the future that could be an issue. Goodbye.
So I mean,
Is this a
aren't the
public hearing?
existing utilities approved already and
It's not even
outside
a
of the
public
scope?
hearing, is it?
No.
And you're
Oh,
not
this is a
looking to
public
run
hearing? Oh.
utilities to the new shed,
people
but
can
the
comment.
Comments, yeah.
utilities run to the existing one, right?
Sometimes there's
Yeah.
the butters and stuff that.
This is the process you have to go.
That if someone were going to do another change of use or going to code for hookups to that new shed at some point,
Finally.
then that would be a brand new situation as far as water usage, containment, disposal, right?
Whole different situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, thank you.
Yep.
Oh, God.
The next one is
504 Laconia Road, map R10, lot 7. It's to convert an existing vacant barn into a woodworking specialty shop. All right, is there an application?
Make a motion to bring the application to the board.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. We've got to look over, before you talk, we have to look over your application first.
So for the board, this is the barn that's located next to Poor Decisions. If you're familiar with that property. They want to do it's mostly mail order, but they make signs and distribute them. It won't be open to customers. It's more just mail order, I believe. Property is owned by Mr. Marcotte.
that approved in that zone? That use? Because that's a, is that
Retail distribution of
it's
goods and,
recreational or
I'm sorry?
what is the name of that zone? I don't have my.
It's mixed use is the
Is it
zone.
mixed
Mixed
use?
use.
No, it doesn't get into the
Resort commercial? No.
But that,
Right across from the stove and there's a little antique shop and, yeah.
It's right next to
Poor
Rowell's,
Decisions.
where Rowell's was going to be Poor Decisions, and then it's a barn on there. Kind of across from
Drew's Roofing.
Yeah.
Smoke and Barley. Yeah, it's in the mixed use, retail, commercial distribution of goods is allowed.
I think one thing would be around the dumpster to have a fenced-in area. We have a lot of bears and raccoons and everything else in that, and make sure it keeps a lid on it. Helps to keep the trash from, and encourage varmints.
Nope,
Oh, we didn't?
no. Make a motion to accept the application as substantially complete.
I'm not even finished reading it. Thinking about the bear, it turned to get. All right, all in favor of approving the application?
Did someone second?
I'll second.
Second. Yeah.
There it is.
Oh, you second.
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, now.
So the dumpster stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I had planned to put the dumpster kind of behind the building. So yeah, we can fence that in. I think it's
Mr.
on
Bell?
the map. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Also, we'll need to hook up to sewer. We've already talked to Johanna in sewer, and she emailed the owner regarding the cost to hook up. There is a line right there that they can hook up.
How many employees do you have?
Probably around 2. Right now it's just me and my wife.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll probably look for 2 others over the coming months.
Good.
Separate
If you read the thing, it'll read the application, talks about that.
Is this already a paved parking area with marked parking spots?
No, it's all gravel.
I asked him to contact DOT, which he did, and he said he met DOT out there, and David can speak to that.
Yeah, on this drawing here, we just proposed moving some of those boulders to allow access to the rear of the building. And they said, yeah, that should be fine as long as it doesn't open up between the 2 parking lots, the Poor Decisions and then ours.
You're not gonna have any retail space in there?
Just maybe like a customer might come and pick an order up, something like that, but not a place to come and shop.
Okay.
How do your abutters in 504A and 504B, how do they get access to their property? Is it access from your property?
Yeah, same entrance, yeah.
Just one
Okay.
big, it's just one
Okay.
big drive.
Thank you.
Actually, there's Drew's Roofing that uses that lot, Poor Decisions. You can't,
Because there's boulders there. Just moving them like this.
Yeah.
yeah.
So one of those 3 will have to be that.
Good sign for
You'll need that.
That just has to be marked, even if it's on gravel, like, okay.
Hang the sign.
It's a sign.
You can make it.
I think DOT would have the sign too when they. No, I understand that. I'm talking about
The sign.
the sign, where we get the sign.
Walmart. Yeah.
Okay. Where are you going to put snow storage?
Probably around the back, but I'd have to visit with Kevin exactly. I haven't really observed this property in the winter yet, see what he typically does.
I don't think he's used it before, has he? I don't think it's been used for anything before.
No, not
I
yet.
not even know where he would put it. But he does plowing himself, right?
I know he's got the trucks in the business, but yeah, I assume he does this, but we haven't talked that far.
Must plow it to get access for tenants in the building
The
next door.
house, yeah, at least.
Oh,
So, where the boulders are.
Yeah.
Generally,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
gonna push to Route 3.
All the way in the
And
back.
I'm not a measuring guy, but a couple hundred feet out.
the extra parking, is that just for your business or is that available to these other ones?
Yeah, I just put that as extra because I only anticipate needing, 4 or 5 at most, something like that. But just to indicate that, if we had as many as 9 or 10 cars, there would be room for them back there.
Other comments or questions from the planning board? Anybody in the audience have any comments or questions? Close it to the audience. Make a motion to accept it with 3 conditions, that you contact DOT, that we get the information there. We're already gonna do that.
Yeah, I've already visited with them. They said
We need
you
to
don't.
get the permit. We need to see it. They'll send us back something, so we
Okay.
need that. Need to know where you're gonna put snow storage. Accommodate the ADA requirement for a parking space for handicap.
The dumpster.
Sewer? Oh, the dumpster.
Dumpster, okay.
He's already getting in touch with sewer, but we should add that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fence
about
around
fire?
the dumpster.
Gonna be doing like wood burning and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
He just has to get approved.
He's going to have to go, right, he'll have to get code and fire approval,
Yeah.
obviously, for CO. This is just for use.
With the
They'll probably
goes
need
on
to do
there,
heat detectors as
Yeah.
far as fire alarms
Second?
just go off of
I'll
smoke.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good luck.
Thank you.
I love your sign.
Love the sign.
Yeah.
sign maker. Imagine that.
You'll be visiting him then.
Always put your best foot forward.
All right, the final case for tonight is a site plan amendment and conditional use permit for the preserve at 725 Laconia Road, map R09, lot 27. Amended site plan for a driveway location and conditional use permit for a pedestrian bridge within the wetland buffer.
Do we have two applications or?
So there's an application for amended site plan based on the driveway permit that was approved by DOT. So they're coming for that, and they're coming for a conditional use permit for the pedestrian bridge they want to build over the wetland. But they're aware that that has to go to conservation, and so they will be continued for that until conservation reviews, and they can come back next month.
Did everyone get a copy of the
Each.
Keach's letter? Everybody get that? It just came late this afternoon. And I know, Tom, that you did not because your computer's down, but.
Yeah, thank you.
I just got now.
Okay.
Leanne, can you just tell me which application is which? They both just say site plan, so I don't know which one's amended, which one's not. Or are they,
The one's a conditional use.
where does it say that though?
Right here.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
okay.
right?
Nope.
You don't have,
This is
Yeah.
this is the checklist.
So that's the amended?
And then this is.
Okay. Okay, sorry.
okay.
Okay.
That's the CUP. So they will talk about it, but they know they're gonna wait.
Okay.
And then. Is that
Okay.
yours?
Did we bring both to the board or one at a time?
Because the other one we can't really vote on because they're not
We'll
gonna.
do the easy one first.
Well, he wants to. Driveway he's concerned about. He's got to get. The
Yeah.
other's gonna go to conservation.
It's too late to see the shoes.
We're gonna take these one at a time.
This one? I'll make a motion to bring the amended application to the board.
Second. I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, let's take a look at this.
Looks good.
I know.
Good.
When should I stand at? That on that side.
The attached project narrative.
Narrative was at the end of the application.
Oh, I don't have anything.
What?
There's supposed to be a narrative attached here. I just have this. Is it this?
Yeah.
This, okay, so that's gotta go with this. Okay.
At the end of Brown Engineering's.
It says Salmon Delia Architects.
So the impact
The
statement.
Brown Engineering? Is that the one?
That one.
I got it, okay. Pavement.
Mhm.
conditional use plan. But it says also a conditional use plan. Planting.
Hope if I just did a quick overview.
Yeah.
Well, we have to approve the application
Yeah.
first, so I'm trying to put it together.
So Chris Solomon, Simulate Architects, I've met many of you numerous times before, but some new members of the board. So we're the architects for the new Preserve Resort project happening just down the road. So coming back with an amended site plan based on some revisions that have happened since our last approvals when we were here, I don't know, 6 months ago. So some of the changes that we wanted to bring back in front of you was the main revision was the Department of Transportation has revised where they would like the main entrance to be for the preserve. That's shifted about 20 feet from the center line over, and that was based on the previously approved 40-mile-an-hour speed limit and deceleration lane. They came back and asked for us to amend that to do a 45-mile-an-hour deceleration lane. So, because I guess there's some speeding issues on the road. So we've done that. We've amended the deceleration lane, which meant we had to extend that the turning lane. So making the site safer is essentially what we're doing. So that roadway impact has changed. Hard to see on these overall plans, but we can get into the details of that. So and because we needed to make that deceleration lane accommodate that extra 5 miles an hour, the entrance has shifted slightly, which meant just the main entrance has a kind of a bit of a serpentine entrance to it. So we can go over that. So that's really the main driver for why we're here tonight. We also had added an additional underground fire suppression storage tank for the fire department. So to accommodate them, they had concerns initially with the building permit. We were going to put in a dry hydrant down by the point. They're concerned with winter access for that. So we've added an underground storage tank. So they can either use that to tie into because there's no hydrant on the street. So either use that for other properties in the area or for fighting fires at the resorts. We've added that for the town's use, kind of general use. We also would like to reduce the entry roadway width to the town standards of 10 feet travel for each travel lane, so 20 feet instead of 24, just to reduce the amount of paved surface. That's been reviewed and approved by the fire department, so they're amenable to that. And then we would like to add a pedestrian bridge going from the parking lot to the main entrance versus having pedestrians having to walk back to the road and up to the resort. So those are kind of the main points that we wanted to review with you. And one was we do need to go to conservation, but wanted to review that bridge with you because it's 4 square feet of disturbance in the wetlands, which is where we would have the piles driven into the wetland buffer area to support the bridge.
You going into the wetland on that?
It does cross the wetlands, yes. That would also get reviewed and approved by the state as well, but that's, wanted to review that with you. So, and I can jump into kind of each one of those items in a little bit more depth if that would be helpful, but I know you guys have to review the application and approve that before we get to that.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion to accept the application.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
All right, so do we want to jump into the main entrance, how that's been revised? So, and I don't know which TV, if it's this one or out back, or what would be better. I'll zoom in on that.
I'm gonna look then.
So
That one's good.
zoom in a bit.
Yeah. This one's probably better.
Closer.
So I'll use this just so I can zoom in on the main entranceway. So the original main entrance, where's the mouse? was located roughly in this location here. I don't know if you can all see the mouse. So that's shifted over slightly. We still have the same entrance and exit lanes. You have one lane for entering. And I don't know if I wanted to back up if any of the new members of the board wanted kind of an overview of the entire project.
No, I've seen it.
Okay. So we still have, there's the main entranceway here. You have two exit turning lanes, one for taking a left, other for going right. So that 45-mile deceleration lane was going to be, there's a pull-out lane here and a deceleration lane here on the right. So those lanes were extended from 40 miles an hour to 45 miles an hour in terms of the speed, which is what people travel on. The road is posted at 40 miles an hour, but the Department of Transportation wanted us to accommodate a greater speed just for a greater safety factor. So we've accommodated that and we're extending that. All of that has been reviewed and approved by the Department of Transportation, and we're scheduled to begin construction on that later this month for those improvements. So we're done before wintertime. There won't be any disturbance in terms of the travel lanes. All that's being done outside of the travel way. We'll have barriers put up and the construction will be underway. And that's all reviewed, approved, and overseen by the Department of Transportation for those improvements. So that's the first amendment to the plan. I do have a more detailed site plan of just the roadway if we wanted to go into those particulars. The next item is where we've put the storage tanks. So there's a underground fire suppression tank, which is roughly in this area next to the resort. That roughly 30,000 gallon set of tanks is only for use for the sprinkler system of the building. The town can't connect to that and take water out of that to go fight a fire somewhere else in the parking lot at a neighbor's property. So as part of both from the insurance company for the building during construction, as well as the town wanted to have a water supply to be used during construction and then after, in case there's a need for additional water to fill up fire engines, not to supply water to the sprinkler system. So we've added another fire suppression tank here underground. That's going to all be buried and go away, but that is an amended part of the site plan. And going back to the travel way, the town's specifications for a roadway is roughly 10 feet per travel way, so 20 feet total. We had previously submitted, I believe it was either 22 or 24 feet. 24 feet. We'd like to reduce that width to 20 feet, just to reduce the amount of pavement. The cleared area in the wintertime, the fire department was requesting that we make sure that we keep that cleared area. So there'll still be a nice shoulder. Snow will be kept out of that travel way. But we would just be reducing the amount of overall pavement on the site for that. And then the pedestrian bridge. So we have this parking lot here. Right now, either pedestrians would come along this pathway, come around the end of the wetlands that flows through the middle of the property, and then back to the main entranceway. There's an existing gravel road here that flanks the wetlands. So we'd like to provide a quicker way for patrons of the resort to come over to the main entrance. So we've proposed adding in a pedestrian bridge that would cross the wetlands. Construction of that would be it'll be constructed from the actual bridge itself. We'll never be in the wetlands with equipment. They start at each side. The excavator that they use is the width of the walkway, that as they build the walkway, they drive across the walkway and put in more pilings into the ground. build the next section of deck, and then reach out, build the next section of pilings and move across. So at no point is there any heavy equipment in the wetlands. That's an approved construction method by the state of New Hampshire for building bridges and wetlands. We would be going for approvals from the state on that, but wanted to get your approvals before that. So that would be an addition to the project. And I can go to the actual bridges.
I have a question.
Yep.
How many pilings are going to be in the wetlands?
It's roughly 4 square feet of disturbed area. In the buffer. Yes, not actually in the wetlands. So in the buffer zone.
Okay.
So this is the bridge. You'd have these pilings going into the ground. And where it's 4 square feet, we've taken the actual area by 6 that gets driven into the buffer zone to support the bridge. That would be the pedestrian bridge. Has handrails, clear travel way. This would be constructed of wood with wood and steel handrails. This would be a wood structure, heavy timber wood structure underneath, supporting the bridge, wood decking, and then wood handrails with metal picket infills for the balusters. Kind of like a deck handrail. Yep. Yeah. So some of the comments we got back from conservation was, how are we going to maintain this in the winter? We would not be using any salt on the bridge. All snow would be removed outside of the wetlands. So we'd use the snow blower either to blow it to one side or the other of the wetlands. We wouldn't be blowing snow into the wetlands. And then we wouldn't be using any salts on the bridge that would fall into the wetlands. It will be lit at night. So as pedestrians are crossing that, it's safe with the minimum foot candles.
I have to hand walk that in the winter with a snowblower, or is it going to be, will you be able to put it on a machine to go over it?
That would be it wouldn't be like a plow truck or anything. We would have a standard Walkman snowblower that would.
Okay. Side by side. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah. How wide is the bridge?
It's roughly 8 feet wide. So it is wide enough that you could cross it with a small golf cart.
Golf cart or a John Deere or something.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So,
I've worked
Uh-huh.
a lot of those years. A lot of hotels don't like to use sand. How are you gonna?
I think with proper maintenance, I mean, we're not going to be able to let snow build up on that, nor would they. They're out there regularly cleaning the sidewalks, cleaning the bridge off, scraping it down to the deck. I mean, I know on like a residential deck, you wouldn't be spreading salt on your deck to get rid of the snow and ice, but you clean it regularly, it stays clear, and they would need to be maintaining that properly.
So I got another question on the parking.
Yep.
I see the drop-off, the main drop-off lobby. Then there's a parking lot on the other side. Who is going to be parking in this lot before the bridge? Is that overflow parking for?
Back down this. So this would be for patrons of the resort would be parking here. So those would be guests. That's guest parking.
Okay, so that's pretty far.
Yeah, that's why we were looking to add that bridge so that it's just a quicker, because it is cold and chilly in the wintertime.
Right, yeah, it's a far walk.
Yep, go ahead.
do you have any intentions of removing the path that you're circumventing now with the bridge?
We thought about that, but we do need to provide the town access to the cemetery for maintenance. So we'd like to keep that there. And then at that point, it's a short footpath. And that would be a gravel path through a lawn. But that existing gravel road would remain, and that would allow you access to the cemetery. Go ahead.
Or to there, they're just.
Yeah, so the wetlands, you can walk in there. It's a nice kind of grove of ferns. So somebody from the resort would have to go in and pick up any litter.
That must be the new guy.
So
I would propose putting barrels on both sides of that bridge.
yeah, I mean the amount of trash in there. I mean, we happy to. We don't foresee a lot of rubbish being carried from people's cars over to the resort. I mean, as you said, it could happen, but be promoting.
Travel. First thing they do is take all the trash out of the car, they put in the trash.
Yeah.
It's gonna fill up, and then
Yeah, like we've seen at the gas station where the guy's pumping his gas and he's using the rubbish bin there to empty his car out for the last 6 weeks. So we don't want to promote that. I mean, we will have at the main entranceway, we'll have rubbish bins there. So if people are coming and going, they want to get rid of their coffee cup, when they get to the resort, if they have takeout food, they throw their wrappers away there. That would be under the main portico at the entranceway, and that would be maintained, throughout the day. So that's never going to overflow, when we'd have issues with wind.
There going to be like any trash cans in like the large parking lots themselves, or?
Right now, we hadn't planned on that. It's we're really not promoting people bringing their trash to the resort, and they're all going to be checking in at the main entranceway beforehand, which is where you'd have a bellman there. They would be, if you get out of the car with a coffee cup in your hand, somebody would be there to receive that and dispose of it.
Yeah, I think we're just going to put off the portion with the bridge. The Conservation Commission hasn't actually commented on it.
Correct.
Those were individuals that happen to be members, so that's not a formal list or anything.
Yes, and
So,
Leanne
yeah.
sent them a notice and said that we would be
Yeah.
sending them.
It was kind of like a heads up for you.
Yep.
So when you go to
He
the
knows that.
Conservation Commission. Then
Yeah, our plan is to go to conservation after this for their
The
review of
next
the
meeting
bridge.
is the 21st.
we get back to the 45 now.
Yeah.
They actually go a lot faster than
Yeah,
that.
they go a lot faster than that.
But that's a good idea. So that doesn't impact any wetlands or drainage to the wetlands in any way.
Nope.
Um,
And I should say that all of the stormwater retention ponds, there's numerous ponds down here. There's kind of a three-part mitigation and treatment facility. So we've got ponds here, and then down at the end of the tennis courts. Those are already in place and functioning. So everything's up and running and working well.
The change to the width of the road actually narrows it down, which lessens impervious surface.
Yeah, all of the stormwater mitigation and drainage is already in place for that. So we're actually just reducing the amount of pavement, but the amount of stormwater capacity and mitigation is greater than what we would need now. It's not, no. Which is why we're adding the turning and the deceleration lane.
All right, are there any more questions from the planning board?
I like the idea, but less.
I'm going to open it up to the audience. Are there any questions or comments? Okay.
Come on up.
Want to come up? Your name and your address, please.
My name is David Barad. I live at 36 Sunrise Shores. I'm in a butter. And Ann was very helpful, gave me a copy of the state's driveway permit. And what stuck out to me is a couple of items. And first one is a specification on page 1. And it says the permit authorized, excuse me, old age, I need glasses now.
Need one of these.
The permit authorized the paved access to be used as a 114-room resort hotel with restaurants and bar, 5 cabins, and a cemetery drive. Doesn't even mention the 300-person banquet room in the specifications. And then it says after any changes in use, increase in use or reconstruction of the driveway requires reapplication. So is this permit flawed because it's not considering the banquet facility? And that covers another part because there was supposed to be a traffic control plan, and the state went through the traffic control plan and the banquet facility was not considered, or that has great implications on peak use of that driveway as cars are entering and leaving Route 3. So is this a flawed permit that has to be redone? And it may have other repercussions for the traffic control plans. 'Cause I looked at it over a year ago and it had a lot of averages. But when you get a banquet of 300 people leaving there, you're going to have peak impact of cars going on in Atkinson Route 3. And this permit doesn't seem to deal with that. I got more too.
Okay, but he's ready to answer this part.
Can you hear me? Okay. Mario Fogaretto, Brown Engineering. The DOT is completely aware of all of the portions of the facility, the ballroom, the junior ballroom, and whatnot. And in fact, the traffic study that was done and required by the town, but also required by DOT, laid all of that out. And all the traffic that was predicted to be derived from this facility is part of this. So I think what they had written here is might have just shortened up the summary of the rooms, but it's all in there. It's in the traffic it's in the traffic study, and it was in part of the application to DOT, in which we submitted the site plan with it, which calls it all out. So it hasn't been missed.
The parking counts and the traffic calculations were based on the traffic calculation studies that we submitted in our previous approvals. So that previous 40-mile-an-hour turning lane, entrances, stacking lanes coming and going that Keach, your third-party engineer review did, that was all based on those, the functions of the resort, which included the main ballroom, the junior ballroom, and all the other functions and employees were all part of those calculations. It was part of the original approval from the planning board.
All I'm saying, it's not reflected in this document. Can I go to my next point?
Can you do that so we can hear? Oh, okay, I got you. That one.
My property line is right here. And I brought up on previous occasions that there's a right of way that extends 175 feet along this property line, 25 feet wide. And then it goes 25 feet wide to my property line all the way to the lake. Previous owners and previous use is the owner of that right of way has given snowmobilers permission to go through that right of way along it and down to the lake. Now, they had to get permission from the previous owners because from my property line, it was about 200 feet of guardrails. So they couldn't access at the 175-foot level. They had to get permission to go through the Anchorage property, which they had. Now with this entrance being moved, the guardrails are coming up short about 165 feet. So now there's going to be access to that 175-foot right-of-way across. I couldn't say exactly, but it looks like it's going through the state right-of-way, and then they can get into that right-of-way to access, go down to the lake. And I'm looking at the state highway plan, and on page 2, there's a section that says, the fourth paragraph down, other access to the highway from the premises is to be prevented by maintaining a barrier or barriers such as a grass plot, low hedges, curved islands, or stands or tree, etc. No part of the right-of-way may be used for purposes other than travel. So this is saying that section says two things. It says they're supposed to prevent access to the property from any other place except for the driveway. But then they said the state right-of-way can be used for travel. So the right-of-way, they can travel across that right-of-way, get to the right-of-way, and do the snowmobiles to the lake. I want to know how they're going to deal with it. Are they going to prevent them from going across to this right-of-way? Or are they going to be allowed to use it? Because this paragraph on page 2 says two different things. It says you have to prevent people going across the highway, but then they say the right of way can be used for travel. So can they travel across and get to that right of way? And nothing's been mentioned to that.
So first off, is the in that approvals, the right of way is based on the state's right of way for the road. It's not based on any other right of ways for adjacent properties. It's only referring to the actual Route 3 right of way and path of travel for vehicles traveling on state roads. We don't have to provide access for others giving other people other than the property owners access to their right of way. That's their own personal business. We're not looking to accommodate snowmobilers traveling to and from if they're, friends of friends, people or snowmobile clubs. We're not looking to extend those right of ways for others, nor does a right of way for an adjacent property owner travel to anybody else in the state. It's only for that one piece of property.
The increase in snowmobile traffic or the lack of access for existing snow?
I'm concerned about the snowmobile increased traffic because the current owner of that right of way has given permission to the snowmobilers to use that right of way. And the prior owners to the anchorage gave them permission to go around the guardrails on their property. With this addition now, they wouldn't need the permission from the preserve because the guardrails do not go over the 175 feet. So they can still cross Route 3, which would be additional traffic, and it's bad enough as it is, and they can still get access to that right away.
But they would have to go through the preserve.
No, the
Wouldn't they have to trespass?
their right of way is on the preserve property.
Right, but if the preserve says, and that's up to the individual, if they say that they don't want ski mobilers, that's up to them to say no.
The property owner has a right of way to use that right of way.
Only the property. Only the property. That's it. Right.
Oh.
And
That's going on everywhere in the state right now with all the new development. You know, you might have one person that says, yeah, I don't mind, but your neighbor says, I don't want it. It's a very, but if they don't want it, they have the right to say, we can't dictate it as a town or anybody to say, open that up to ski mobiles if they don't want it.
well, I know my road, Sunrise Shore.
Yeah.
I own 90% of the road, and it's for the neighbors have a right of way across it, and it's open to not only to the neighbors, but friends and relatives and their designees. My question is this right of way that my neighbor has 175 feet on the preserved property, 25 feet wide, and going down to the lake, do they have the same rights to designate their right of way to be used by friend, relatives, snowmobile clubs?
Not if the preserve don't want it. I've dealt with it before, and it's a real sticky.
Okay, that's been dealt with. That's what I'm asking about.
Right.
It affects traffic on Route 3, and it affects the driveway permit, which says you're going to permit, you're supposed to put barriers up so people don't go across any other place except for the proposed driveway. But this is a right of way that people are going to be accessing the property, not through the driveway, but through another part. And the driveway permit says two things. You block them from doing it, but they're using the state right away, and that's approved for travel. So it says in two things.
The state right of way is not part of the preserve. It would be different. That would be the state right of way and the preserve right of way. So,
but they use the state right of way to access the 175 foot right of way.
Is there a snowmobile trail directly on
They
the
have been
other
using
side of the road?
They've
And
been,
that's what they're, so there's a way to get to the road and then go over the, they're
it's
going over.
it's been marked and it's been used for the last 2 or 3 years. So if you go over there, you'll see signs on the trees, and the snowmobilers mark it on both sides of Route 3, and they have been using it. And they actually even built a ramp on the preserved property to go from the shoreline
now
to the
that's
lake.
where it's going to get tricky, because if it's on the preserve property, the preserve has the right to say, we don't want ski mobilers no more and take the bridge away. And if they keep doing it, then the preserve would have the right to pursue it and say, we don't want them at all, and post it, no ski mobile.
I would like to see it clarified.
That we,
So as far as the application of, that's a state DOT.
Right,
driveway
that's a
application.
DOT.
That doesn't.
Exactly.
that
Well,
doesn't-
it affects this because in the permit, it says all other accesses to the property from Route 3 should be prevented, except for travel. And they can travel through the state right away to the 175 foot right away and get access to the lake.
but that would be on a state road. That would, like I said, that if it's on the preserve property, they have the right to say, we don't want it. If it's on the state property,
Well,
stop.
the homeowner has a right of way, and you're saying it's restricted, and I'm not sure it's restricted. That's why I want to see how it's going to be dealt with.
I mean, could snow drive into most, if not all, of the like road frontage? I mean, unless there's
No, they're restricted to this right of way that my neighbor has deeded right of way.
legally, but your concern is like the lack of physical barriers preventing snowmobilers from crossing the road.
Preventing them to get to the right of way.
But what about them just going through the preserve another way?
Well, they can
rather
stop
than
that.
through
There's
it?
no right. Then they can say he can't go down a property, but he has a right of way that's on the preserve property that he can get through Route 3.
So the neighbor has a right of way. That's a legal document with the state of New Hampshire. We can't prohibit the neighbor from crossing the road and going to the lake. It was meant to bring his cattle down to the water and so they can get water. We won't be welcoming and opening our arms to all of the local snowmobile clubs to be traveling in and around the resort and having free reign of the property. That's not our intentions. But we can't prohibit somebody from using their deeded right of way.
Could you, or do you plan to like put up a gate or something that, they would have a key to, therefore they'd have to physically go and open it in order to cross? And that would prevent other people from gaining access to your property?
To worry about, well, part of this is it's not our right of way, it's the state's right of way. So we can't put gates up in say the Route 3 improvements. That's not our property either. That's the state of New Hampshire's property. So we can't put gates along that.
Eric?
Be an issue.
Oh,
Wouldn't this be an issue to state of Hampshire? But it feels like it's almost an issue that needs. We can resolve here,
It's
but
not.
I think working in conjunction with I don't know what the snowmobile, but Central New Hampshire Snowmobile. Usually it's a cooperative effort between all of these, because what happens is if someone goes off the trail, let's say there wasn't a trail that was, they went off property, all of a sudden say, oh, no, no more trail, and that route. So it's kind of a cooperative effort where I think if it's a clubs working with the.
All right, yeah, that's what she said. It's not our issue.
It does seem like everyone's in agreement that they don't want snowmobilers going that way. So I would assume the resort would try what they can, block off access, hire security guards if it's really a problem that's bothering the guests.
Yeah, but I'm only familiar with the property over the last 3 years, and I haven't seen any snowmobiles go down that side quarter, but I'm sure it's happening.
And another issue, it's really not the planning board's issue at all. So it's not appropriate for us to continue spending more time discussing it. It's an issue with the preserve and the state, not the planning board, okay?
May I refer you to page 2, the 4th paragraph down. And it actually is in the driveway permit from the state to
That's a state.
preserve.
That's state.
It says two
Not
different things.
Not the local planning board.
It says block it off, but it still has to permit travel.
you'd have to go to the state and ask them
Yeah,
for it,
not
because
the
that's,
local planning
yeah,
board.
that's the state that made that.
Well, this affects the travel plans for Route 3 per the driveway.
There's multiple entrances to the site right now. And part of this was to eliminate those multiple entrances, and they're trying to make it just one entrance to the site. But, existing, there's an entrance here and there's an entrance here. And they're saying with this permit, you can't have more than one. There can only be one entrance. And if the other ones are going to remain, they need to be blocked off. They're not talking about the snowmobile trail. they're talking about one way in to the site. They're giving us one place, one sight line, one left turn lane, one right only turn lane. That's all they're stating on that.
At the, if you guys aren't familiar with the site, at the cemetery, there's an entrance here that loops down, and then another entrance over here on the property. So those two entrances would be abandoned, and we would just have one single entrance off of Route 3.
Right now, you're just doing it for construction.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which is going to be going away in the next. There you go. Sorry, which is going away in the next couple of weeks when the DOT stuff starts.
Yeah.
So my question is, how are they going to meet the conditions in the driveway application or permit from the state to block off that access to this right of way?
That would be the state.
The state would be determine that, not the planning board.
Okay, but it hasn't been dealt with and it's in the permit.
But it's not our permit, it's the state.
Yeah, but part of your approval process is to
No,
approve
it's
the
state
state.
approval process.
Well, the
If the
state,
state approves it,
We're just here for the,
all we have to do is say that the state has approved it. That's our condition. Approval from the state. That's only our condition, okay? What the state, any problems thereafter, you need to talk to the state about, not to us.
okay, but they're putting this condition in.
And we're putting a condition in saying you need approval from the state.
And
they have approval from the state. That's where
that's where I'm asking.
Our question has been satisfied. Period.
So when we look at it, as I asked before, is it impacting any wetlands on the site or anything that's in the town jurisdiction, the town property? So had they had moved it over and hit wetlands, then we'd have to deal with that and those things and the drainage from it. However, as the chairman stated, the only thing we can say about a driveway permit is, did it get reviewed by the state and did they approve it? We can't revoke that permit for that driveway. We can only make sure that the construction beyond that opening on the town jurisdiction is done properly.
And that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
The condition is here in the permit and you guys approved the state permit. I'm just saying,
we don't approve state permits.
you accept the state permit as part of the plan.
We do.
And
We can't
part of that
unaccept it.
is, are you going to restrict access to here? And there's been no mention on this right away of what's going to be done.
That's a completely civil thing. We can't, as a town, force a property owner just as much as your own property to allow somebody on it. That they would have to take it up directly with you. Be a civil thing. We can't. It's beyond our reach.
Well, it does affect the traffic for the driveway and everything, and it increases
Which is
exposure to
The
Route
state,
3.
That's the state, not the town.
But the town's accepting this plan, and I'm saying, how is this, it's not being dealt with? How are they gonna enforce this part of the plan, which you're accepting as a part of the plan here? How are they gonna restrict access?
Intention of the restricted access was only allowing vehicular traffic to come and go from the property from this one entranceway.
That's it. All right, any other questions from the audience? Come back to the planning board. Else from the planning board. And we're looking only for we're not looking for the bridge. We're only looking for the driveway portion of it.
Driveway and the narrowing of the road
Only that.
to 10
he has to go to
20 feet.
amendments.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you need to go to the Conservation Commission for the bridge, okay? I'll
Like a
accept the
motion, yeah. The motion that we accept it for the driveway.
And the road
And the road.
to 20 feet from 24 feet. Yeah.
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank
No,
you.
one more piece of business, Madam Chair, is
Minutes?
if you are continuing, so you need a motion, right? So to continue this hearing, so we don't have to renotice for the CUP. So if you'll make a motion that you refer this plan to the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
And Chris, are you planning on going this month?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. All
That's
right.
the
So then
21st,
you could
correct?
continue it until the September meeting.
So moved.
Okay. Excuse me, there is no second meeting in August?
So is there a second to that?
I'll second.
I said so moved. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Now, Chris, thank you. All right. Finally, the minutes. Everybody have a chance to review the minutes?
Can we do one more small piece of business before I want to share with the board one more application?
I've got one more thing too, but can we do the minutes first and then do it? Okay. So I'm gonna make sure. Now I lost my. Yes.
On the minutes,
Yep.
top of the minutes, it says I'm not in attendance, and at the bottom of the minutes, it says I made the motion. Oh, I showed up.
You
late.
showed up at the last minute.
Do the important part.
Shut up to adjourn.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I did.
Okay.
Good
I just
catch.
want to make sure that I don't miss
Okay.
something. I showed up at some point.
Attended to.
Across your name. We're here.
Just going to do this real quick.
Has everybody had a
After
chance to
the
review the minutes? We got some people out who took themselves. I don't know why. What are they doing?
They went to the bathroom. Somebody
Oh.
went to the bathroom. I think Nathan went to the bathroom.
Another continue.
On the email, I couldn't attach it, I couldn't open.
We got
Like a
more stuff?
property line adjustment.
Oh, we're done.
Is everybody all set on the minutes?
Yep.
I make a motion to accept the minutes with the amendment that Eric arrived late.
I second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You have to abstain, right? You weren't here.
No.
So you can say abstention
Say
in the
abstention.
microphone.
Into the microphone. Abstention. Abstention. It's recorded so they can write the notes up.
Say,
Are you done the minutes? I'm sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
You are done.
we
Okay.
had one abstention.
Me.
Okay. You're all set. So I just wanted to, so Jane had mentioned a couple times the change in the site where First Student is. And it's not technically a change of use, I don't believe, because it was office and they're using it as office. But I did ask him to bring me something that showed the change. So the aerial is, again, probably an old Google aerial because you don't have current aerials on our GIS maps. But the other one, did I give you the markup? Yeah. And then the other one is the markup. Did I give you two aerials?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, and the other one is the markup that they did. And again, they didn't change anything they claim on the site. They did remove the, it was like a portable office trailer that was on the site. They removed that. They did it without a permit, so they're coming, we've got them on that. They're supposed to be processing that. It's already gone. They didn't really demo it, they just removed it. And now they're using the office that was office space, I believe, at that building.
It was retail before. That's why I asked.
Oh, it was retail?
That's why I said it was changing use.
Okay.
Okay.
I wasn't aware it was retail. I thought it was used as an office.
It was a TV shop.
Oh, they told me it was an office.
Well,
So it's now an office. They're using that as their office building for the buses. So if anybody wants them to come and address the plan, or you want them to do a formal change of use, I can have them do that. I wasn't aware that it was retail. So
that's
They
why
didn't demolish the other one, they just hauled it away, right?
right,
Yeah.
correct. They hauled, it was a portable, and
Portable.
whoever this Mr. Gothia, the owner, I think, was using that building, and he gave them the building, and they didn't have to use the portable.
Okay, so that employee parking marked on the left, there was a building there, and that's gone now.
It was a portable, yeah, like one of those office trailers
That was parking, but where is the office space going to be then?
in the building, in the,
554.
he gave him the house. He gave him the building
Okay, all right, so we're,
to use as their office. And he's gone.
Bill's TV.
So, and is this a property line adjustment also?
Is what a property line adjustment?
Right here, you're going from what, 15 to inclusive?
I don't know.
oh, this is just,
A lot merger.
I think he's just including, it's all one piece. I think he was just,
Oh, it's all one piece?
yeah.
It's
this
all
is just
one
a Google
owner.
Map, and then they traced around it to show the.
How could it
So-
be?
How can
It's
it be?
two
It's
lots.
Gothia owns both.
Right,
He-
but it's
he's not
still two
merging them.
separate properties.
It is two separate properties, correct.
One use?
But one use now, yes. It was not one use before.
Now, did they,
I guess because Jane said it was retail. I didn't know what that was before.
did they resolve the lighting issues that they had?
Yeah.
Yes, with the butter, yes.
Yeah, I knew there was something lighting on the
Yes,
fence
they
or
did. They
something.
had an electrician come in and they changed the lighting over there and had some of it face down and redirected it for their concern. Obviously, the bus concern was the safety of their drivers coming in the winter in the dark against this fence, but they've come to a resolution with with Mr. Wright and
So just let it.
Yeah, so they're in compliance with the lighting.
correct. It's all facing down.
Where it's technically two lots. So you do retail to.
Well, it's probably better now that it's all one use, right? Than the way it was before when it was retail and bus. Right, we can do a change of use form for the file. It's a matter of whether we can just approve it as a change of use administratively, or if you want to see a site plan, a larger site plan, or if this is agreeable. Again, I wasn't aware it was retail. It looks like office in there. It didn't really look like retail.
Bill's TV. You remember that?
He
Looks like a home from
technician
above.
and
And I've been in there, and yeah, they didn't really do anything in there.
It's lesser of an impact. However, there's no application to actually change it in front of us. I'm sure I'm myself in favor of it, but
Right.
we
And
can't.
again,
He would have to formally
Sure.
sign it, and then at the next meeting we can ratify it.
Yeah, if you want to see it, and again, I believe it says that we can approve them in our office as well if they're minor, or we can bring them here. So I'm happy to bring it here for you to review it again, or I can have him fill out the paperwork as a change of use and approve it and attach that to the file.
Also
I'll
like
do
to
anything
see
you like.
About, they have employees and people, and they don't have any parking for it. They just park wherever they decide to park when they come in, so.
If they can just fill it out, and
You want
next
to
meeting,
bring it
that's
to
a
the meeting?
quickie.
Sure,
Yeah.
we'll have him fill it out. We'll bring it to the meeting.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Creates a paper trail, so if it changes to something else again,
We'll know what it was.
we'll know what it was.
Right, it won't be so
you.
long.
I have, you had something, go ahead, Jane. You had something you said?
Yeah, Lakes Region Planning sent out a letter on the planning board books, the state books.
They do that every year.
Been ordered, so Christine had asked if they were ordered every year.
Yeah, that we take care
My
of that.
question, does anybody use them?
Yes.
I've used it,
Oh.
I was saying, Leanne, I used it like 3 times last year, I think.
Okay, I was
Fine.
wondering if
I
you
go
had either.
online
So
to get the
The only
RSAs.
other question I have, Lan, is that you issued a letter to the owner to respond within 7 days on the mics, or we're going to talk about issuing a cease and desist. What happened? Did he respond? Last
Yes.
meeting.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
he did
Mike.
come. Yeah, the owner of Mike's did respond finally and came in and met with me and with Eric and Chad and said all he wanted was to comply and that he thinks it's
What?
very.
Okay.
Yes.
I get it.
Thank you. It took me a minute. I didn't know where you were going with that. I was thinking of something else.
Okay.
And he will do whatever, it takes to comply because he realizes how important it is. Yes.
Do you have more, Leanne?
I have a couple of things. Go ahead. You have something? Oh, okay. This is just signature. I'm asking if the board, because I had a couple hiccups with contacts with some of the board members, and we have new board members. I produced a form for each of you, and if you would sign it and check off how you want to receive your packets. Some people like them just electronically and because I know a lot of you give me back the material. Anyway, if you want packets mailed, you check off. If you want it emailed or both. And I have one for everyone, and then sign it. And also check that the contact information is correct. I want to make sure, because I had one with Mr. Damon. I know we had a problem with his email because he changed it and I didn't have a phone number. So if you can just check the contact information and check off how you want your material, that would be great, and leave them here for me. I'll pass these out. And lastly, I just need Jane to sign Haven Grove. Haven Grove conditionally was approved with 2 items. One was that fire approved, and the other was that it got a wetland scientist stamp, which we have both here. The fire report is attached and the stamp is on there. So if I can get Jane to sign that, if the board approves of those conditions.
Not Mylar though, is it?
No, it's not a subdivision plan. It's a site plan. That's all I have. If anyone has anything else, I'm gonna.
Pass these out and get them signed.
Yes, it's.
That's mine. Oh, it says so, doesn't it? Sorry.
About 25 in the year.
I'm not spelled right?
It is.
Oh, thank you. You always have to
First
look
thing
it
I
up
always look,
too.
because I'm like,
Tricky.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Jim.
Here's till 25.
Here you go. Oh, you need me to sign it.
Paul?
You're welcome.
You have an agenda, just give me-
Yes, I am.
I changed the email,
Oh, that's.
but was that before?
Not gonna have email any longer? Just for last minute things too, like especially in the winter when we cancel, if I can't reach people.
All right, I'm gonna be in North Carolina. If you need to get in touch with me, you can get me on my.
Permanently?
No.
Starting when?
Soon.
Will you be here for the next meeting in September?
I hope to be, but I'm not sure. But I'll let you know.
When is it? That's the 20th, right?
It's the, uh,
Second. Yeah, the second.
second week, yeah.
Okay,
And
yeah.
we have another application, so we'll have the other application, have the preserve, and we'll do the,
Probably
we'll
have
have
Mike's people
Mike Rivers,
Yeah.
and we're gonna have the student first.
Kick that down.
We have two in September. It's only in July and August that you guys meet once a month, because it's summer.
Could you just let me know my text time?
Second and fourth, correct.
All right.
Everybody's back already? I got everybody's back?
Leanne, I need help. Where am I supposed to sign?
Well, it should finish. Starts 30 minutes before this starts.
Here's my file. Now, it doesn't have to go to the registry, so. I'm gonna give you a signature box.
Go.
I'm gonna.
I know there usually is. That's
I
why
think, yeah, you know
I
what?
didn't know where.
I'll get the stamp. I think I have the stamp in my drawer. I'll get the stamp. Usually they put it on, and then you can sign it. You can come
Well,
by.
just
and-
call me and I'll come by.
Yeah, all right. All right, so that's Haven Grove, but they're all set. These are yours.
I thought it was gonna be better when I didn't have, when I got my cataracts taken off, but shit, I got too many more, 10 more layers of glasses now. All right, you can make your motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
I'm gonna assume that we'll be back at Town Hall for the next meeting,
I hope so.
right? Selectmen Scanlon?
Can you turn off the recording,
Back in
please?
the Town Hall next meeting?
hope so, yeah. I think so.
Leanne, can you turn off the recording, please? It off? Oh. I don't trust those guys at all.
Those guys shut it off on you?